For many introverts, small talk feels like a necessary evil. It's often seen as shallow, awkward, and energy draining. But here's the truth. Mastering small talk doesn't mean abandoning your depth. It means creating bridges to it. Think of small talk not as meaningless chatter but as a warm-up. Just as muscles need stretching before a workout, minds need ease before depth. Small talk is the entry point, not the destination. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Small talk is the spark that allows that reaction to happen. Why small talk feels fake, and why that's okay. Introverts often crave meaningful conversations. The kind where you dive into purpose, passion, fears, and dreams. So when someone comments on the weather or says, "Crazy traffic today, huh?" it feels forced, inauthentic. But here's what psychology teaches us. Rapport starts small. According to social penetration theory, relationships develop through gradual layers, starting with surface-level exchanges and moving deeper over time. So yes, small talk can feel fake. But it's not about faking who you are, it's about offering something accessible. A signal that says, "I'm open to connection on your terms first, then mine." Think of it like a handshake for the mind. Reframing the fear. The real problem isn't small talk. It's the fear of awkwardness. The fear of rejection. The fear of saying the wrong thing and looking stupid. And this fear? It's deeply human. According to evolutionary psychology, we're wired to avoid social rejection because it once meant literal death. Being excluded from the tribe was dangerous. But here's the modern truth. No one is scrutinizing you as harshly as you think. This is called the spotlight effect. Our tendency to overestimate how much people notice or remember what we say or do. Once you realize most people are too focused on themselves to judge you, the pressure eases. And when you drop the fear, your authentic self has room to emerge. The philosophy of connection. Philosophers like Martin Buber emphasize that life's deepest fulfillment comes not from things, but from relationships. In his concept of I-thou versus I-it, he showed that real connection comes when we see others not as objects, but as beings just like us, with fears, hopes, and dreams. So how does this apply to small talk? It's simple. Approach every interaction not as a transaction, but as an opportunity to meet another soul. Even if it's brief. Even if it's awkward. Even if it doesn't go anywhere. By treating the conversation as a moment of shared humanity rather than a performance, you shift from self-consciousness to presence. The art of listening. Most people think mastering small talk is about saying the right thing. It's not. It's about listening the right way. Dale Carnegie, author of How to Win Friends and Influence People, said, "To be interesting, be interested." Listening isn't just hearing words, it's paying attention to tone, emotion, pauses, and what's not being said. Ask open-ended questions. What's been the best part of your week? How did you get into what you do? What's something that made you laugh recently? These aren't just better than what do you do. They open the door to real stories. They signal, I care about more than your title or small details. I want to know you. That's how small talk becomes real talk. Silence is not the enemy. Introverts often dread silences. But here's a truth from Zen philosophy. Silence is not empty. It's full of presence. In fact, in some cultures, silence in conversation is considered respectful and reflective. In Japan, for example, silence is a key part of communication. It shows you're thinking deeply about what's been said. When you don't rush to fill every gap, you allow space for thought. That space is where trust builds. So don't fear the pause. Embrace it. Let it breathe. Ritual over results. You don't need to become the life of the party. Start small. Make it a daily ritual to start one light conversation. At a cafe, in an elevator, at the checkout counter. The goal isn't to impress or even connect deeply, it's to flex the muscle. Just like Stoic philosophers believed in voluntary discomfort to build resilience, facing social discomfort in small doses builds social strength. You condition your mind to remain calm, confident, and curious under pressure. It's not about the result. It's about the ritual. The hidden strength of introverts. Introverts often underestimate their own power in conversation. But according to research by Susan Cain, author of Quiet, introverts tend to be better listeners, more empathetic, and more reflective. These traits make for great conversationalists, not flashy ones but meaningful ones. When you speak, you think before you speak. When you listen, you truly listen. When you connect, you feel it. That's not a weakness. That's your superpower. Small talk is a mirror. Every conversation reveals more about you than you realize. How you respond. What you choose to ask. Whether you make eye contact or smile. but it also reveals how you see others. Are you quick to judge someone's awkwardness? Or do you lean in with curiosity? The ancient Greeks believed that dialogue, true dialogue, is one of the highest forms of learning. Socrates used conversation not to win but to discover. So treat small talk like a mirror. Not just a reflection of others, but of yourself. Who are you in those micro moments? When it's not about words. Sometimes the most powerful parts of small talk aren't verbal at all. It's the energy you bring. Body language, eye contact, tone of voice. Psychologist Albert Mehrabian's studies found that communication is only 7% verbal. The rest? Vocal tone and nonverbal cues. So if your words feel clumsy, it's okay. Focus on warmth, openness, presence. The words will follow. The practice of connection. Like meditation, small talk is a practice. You won't be perfect. You might stumble. You'll definitely cringe at some conversations. But that's the point. With each conversation you refine your awareness. You expand your comfort zone. You build social resilience. And eventually you realize, what once terrified you, now empowers you. Final thoughts, from shyness to strength. You don't have to become someone you're not to master small talk. You don't need to be loud, extroverted, or performative. You just need to show up. Fully. Genuinely. With curiosity instead of fear. Because when you stop trying to impress, and start trying to understand, everything changes. The best conversations aren't always the deepest. Sometimes they're the simplest. And sometimes the smallest talk leads to the biggest breakthroughs. If this made you see small talk in a whole new way, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel for more insights on psychology, philosophy, and personal growth. We don't do fluff. We do real tools for a better, smarter life. Like the video if it resonated. Share it with someone who overthinks social situations. And remember, mastering small talk isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. And that's something anyone, yes, even you can do.